My Holocaust Memorial Day 2016 story is how the Negroes of Alabama came to love their Hitler. For my generation of American Negroes, the symbol and author of our oppression was Alabama Governor George Corley Wallace. Wallace was to racism what Kanye West is to narcissism. Its embodiment. Wallace's state troopers sicked the dogs on school children. His fire department blasted them with high-pressure hoses, and in 1962, Governor Wallace famously declared,
"Segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever."
Yet, less than 20 years later, Wallace won a fourth term as governor with more than 90% of Alabama's black vote. In Alabama in 2008, Barack Obama only got 84%. Negro voters of Alabama defined getting beyond your historical pain. Three things sent Alabama's Negroes into forgiveness overload. One, in 1972, George Wallace got shot. Not by some Negro who'd been beaten by Alabama state troopers or whose mom had been assaulted. Wallace was shot 5 times by a non-political white guy who wanted to be famous. To 15-year-old me, seeing Wallace lying, bleeding on the ground was like watching the Terminator T1000 get blown apart. I felt triumphant. But apparently many of Wallace's actual victims, the Negroes of Alabama, did not share my glee.
There were all around Selma that day folk who disliked George Wallace intensely were praying that he recover. They didn't want him dead, and there was no rejoicing among black Alabamians that George Wallace had been shot, but there was a lot of the chickens have come home to roost. You heard that everywhere.
The second huge technology that helped Alabama Negroes forgive George Wallace was their religion. Their broken tormentor was humbled before their eyes, in constant pain from the bullet they knew was still lodged near his spine. After the shooting, Wallace didn't have to feel their pain. They felt his. Christianity gave Alabama Negroes not just an excuse, but obligation to indulge their better angels. Number 3, Wallace popped a wheelie. Or a wheelchair conversion. The governor renounced his old segregationist ways.
And whether or not you've agreed with me in everything that I used to do and agreed to, I know that you do not. I, too, see the mistakes that all of us made in years past.
Wallace apologized to those he had wronged and asked for another chance in office to make amends. And the Negroes of Alabama went for it.
Glad to see you here.
God said you must repent. And he's repentant. Governor Wallace is a child of God now. You can believe that.
They did photo ops with him, contributed to his campaign, brought their kids to see him. At least 90% got over what had been done to them by him.
The things that he have gone through, it was enough to change him. And I do believe he has changed.
She was right. Wallace responded to better Negro angels with better political ones. He appointed record numbers of Alabama Negroes to his cabinet and assembled an integrated coalition to get his bills through the state legislature. This Holocaust Memorial Day, I quote the Perkea vote, the wisdom of the Jewish elders. Who is mighty? The one who makes an enemy into a friend. And I assert that the Negroes of Alabama were mighty.